Okay, I had spent the whole day yesterday, Father's Day, working on that stuff so Anthony has a place for his plants. And not that he can't plant back here, but you can't plant watermelons in my tomato beds and then they stretch down 5 feet to the ground or 3 feet to the ground, depending on which ones. Anyway, I digress. I haven't been back here in a week. You know, we have these water reservoirs and they're working. Because all of the tomatoes, all of the peppers are thriving. They're all growing and taking off. My artichokes, however, no water reservoir. I came back here, they were laying down. Now, I had to prop them up and water them. We'll see if I saved them. I was letting some of the artichokes bloom, so I want to see if I can get seeds from them. Since I've never done this before, I could eat the last 3 or 4, or we could let them bloom, see if we get seeds. So that was my goal. But I can tell you right now, 90 degrees, 89, 87, not a good time to skip a whole week in your garden. There's just, if all I'm doing is going around and checking and watering, I'm fine. But all these extra projects, that project in the front flower bed, I was out there with Anthony 3 or 4 nights this week till 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. The turtle nesting box project, the garden next door for the corn and the watermelons, it took a lot of time. And you know where that time came from? It came from my tomato area. Thank goodness we have water reservoirs. Because we got big, beautiful tomato plants. They're flowering. Look at this. That's our blue beauties. And I see a little bit of some yellow leaves on a couple of my tomato plants for, I guess, these are my Kellogg's breakfast. My Kellogg's breakfast, they're going to need some water today. But it's one plant. Just like last week I had one Paul Robeson plant. There could just be a problem with one plant because the rest of them look fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get some water on these now. But it's just amazing. Water reservoirs. Yeah, this is going to be something we use all the time. I can tell you, these dragon tongue beans do not disappoint. I'm making an observation. They're not really good at climbing. Our other beans are, Kentucky Wonder. They will climb a 100-foot tree if you let them. These beans, they grow. The leaves are getting huge. Look at the leaves. And you have to search to find the beans because the beans, they're hiding under the big leaves. But they're there. Oh, yeah, they're there. So I'm going to have to put the camera down to pick them because there's a bunch of them in there and I don't want to rip the branches. Our squash, check the squash out. We have squash on the plant. Whoa! Check out our first cucumber. Every year our cucumbers failed. Anthony said we had a cucumber, but I didn't even. Woo! Look at this. Look at that. I guess I should pick it, right? I'm going to pick it. I'm not even taking a chance. Oh my goodness. The day after Father's Day. June 17th, 2024. I know this is going to sound ridiculous to some people. My first cucumber. Every year we failed with the cucumbers. I mean, every single year. That's it. Our first cucumber. Woo! Ha ha! That cucumber vine has got a lot of flowers. Wow. All right, we know how to grow cucumbers. We need a trellis and morning shade. What did I do different? Morning shade, afternoon sun, and a trellis for them to climb straight up. I mean, literally 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at about 20 cucumber flowers. Oh, yeah. Sooner or later, I knew. I never quit. Sooner or later, we would grow cucumbers. Have at it, little fella. Or little girl, whichever. That butterfly caterpillar is eating Egyptian walking onions. And if there's anything I have plenty of, I mean plenty, it's Egyptian walking onions. And I've never seen that before. How cool is that? That's just beautiful. That is most assuredly a very heavy flower. I'm gonna have to water that one. I let these last 3 bloom. That one's well on its way. These 2 are coming close. Check this out. I mean, they are blowing open to a big, beautiful flower. There's artichoke over there. I'm gonna pick it. That one's going in the kitchen. We're gonna eat this one. What do you think? It's almost 5'11". For sure, if you grab one of those tall leaves, it is 5'11". These sunflowers are well on their way. And that's a pretty stout stem. It's pretty tough. It's got little hairs all over it. This little yellow one, that one looks like it's ready to open up. This is our first year growing sunflowers and they're looking beautiful. This ant's got to go. Listen, we have about 30 or 40 Fountain Inn Sweet Grape. They are not blushing yet. They're not turning red because the plants are still taking off like crazy. But I'll tell you what, those are volunteer plants. They grew out of one of these big beds. I couldn't throw them away, so we stuck them in pots for another day. And I come out here now, there's tomatoes all over them. They look like they laying down. Some of the leaves are shriveling up from the water. They still putting out tomatoes. Yeah, never give up on a tomato plant because they will do what they're supposed to do. They just need the right environment. I was out here 4 days ago. Actually, 3 days ago. You gotta watch your tomato plants. Now, you see this stem? That's a tough stem, but it is growing outside the tomato cage. And it's got a big bunch of flowers on top. Those tomatoes will snap that branch. I'm gonna have to try to get it back in. If it breaks, at least the ones on the inside will have a better chance. I don't wanna waste the plant. I'm gonna try to push it in. It's not gonna be easy. Check this out. trouble reaching the other side. Planted these right next to those recycling bins with the leaves in it. Yeah, I definitely don't think I could reach over there. Well, you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. I can see right now, I wasn't going to plant these in this bed. I had them in the pots temporarily, but they're thriving. Literally, they're thriving. So maybe we'll go ahead and put them in the ground. I think we could do it. I should have been paying more attention. But you know, no kidding. All these extra projects will wear you out when it comes to daylight hours. And you already know, neither myself nor Anthony, we're not afraid to work in the dark. Sometimes we see some creepy spiders with the flashlights. All right. I think that this will save this. It's got little baby tomatoes all over it. So it's time to give it a little trim. Remember, you want to keep the bottom branches far away from the dirt. Because if any disease is in that dirt, guess what it's going to do? It's going to climb right up on your plant. So the bottom of this plant looks pretty clean. I got it in the cage. I'm just going to have to watch it now and keep it going straight. Let's see if we can get this one in the cage. Oh boy. Okay, so the one behind it is going to try to interfere. Let me see. There's so many flowers. I think we're good. Let me see if I can get this cage on here now. We have plenty of tomato cages. Last year we bought a bunch. All right, let me get a tomato cage. Here we go. You know, we have so many projects going on for the infrastructure of our garden. Last year, we winded it down. We got most of them done. But as of, I'm gonna guess 2 months ago, all kinds of ideas started popping. Well, there's some space. There's some space. That's gonna die off, so if something was growing above it, it could come in after it. Bottom line, these were those Everglades tomatoes that volunteered in the onion beds. Matter of fact, you can't even see the onions. Next year, our onions are going in the ground, and they're gonna have irrigation. This is our first year. We really tried to make a shot with the onions and the garlic. And the shady spot, no irrigation. I'm not gonna say we hit a home run. Now, Greg and Carla planted some over there, and I see the garlic scapes are on there right now, so I can go cut the garlic scapes off. But here's the point. I left these for 2 weeks, and pretty soon they're gonna be falling over unruly. So I don't know how big a zucchini squash gets when you're supposed to pick it. And I see we got some eggplants. They're small. Little white eggplants are growing. And the cucumber vines, they're taking off straight up. So I figure we're going to have white eggplants and zucchini down low, and we're going to have cucumbers up high. I'll find out if I'm supposed to pick this thing. If I am, I'll pick it tomorrow. I have to start coming out here every single day. No more waiting. Tomato plants growing outside the cages. You can't bend them back without cracking them. I mean, it's not easy. So it's time to be here every day. All right. These are garlic scapes. Now, I should have cut them a few days ago, but I got hung up on the other side of the yard. Once our infrastructure is done, I will stop missing opportunities of what I need to do because I'll be out here. In the meantime, if you cut these off the top of the garlic plant, then the plant will focus all of its energy on building your garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting these scapes off today. And as Greg said to me, they're a delicacy. Well, let me tell you something. When Miss Karen puts these in the oven with some chopped up potatoes and broccoli and cauliflower, it's amazing. Totally amazing. Now, we freeze dried a whole bunch for Greg and Carla at Gracious Farms, but I'm going to eat these. It's not enough to freeze dry, but it's definitely enough for dinner tonight. Got to pull these garlic scapes off. Might not have grown the best garlic because this is our first year of really trying. But look at that sweat. That's me, not Anthony. That's me bending down over and over and over, bending down, cutting these, taking care of the sweet potato vines, catching beetles. One pot, one plant, one patio. You're never too old, you're never too sick, you're never too out of shape. Just start, it'll grow. And the weight will come off, and the health will increase, and your life will get longer and better. Proof is in the pudding. I'm gonna get a couple more of these garlic scapes, and I'm gonna show you I didn't have to put nets on our lettuce because there's nothing for them to cross-pollinate with. We'll only grow one kind of lettuce this year, and it was all black-seeded Simpson. Yeah, it's looking like that Chinese cabbage. We already cut a bunch, but it's starting to come back. Those roots are producing. Whole new tops of the plants are coming out. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to harvest some basil for Miss Karen to put in the freeze dryer. Only planted a little bit of the purple basil because she really likes the green. I like the purple, maybe just because of the contrast of color. It's not really the flavor is that much better. But it's a little different. I like them both, especially with some balsamic vinegar on top of some tomatoes. That's a specialty right there in this house.